what's shaking, what's happening, what's whatever. Hello. So this is going to be a general energy reading. Yeah, so I did say that I was down for spiritual maintenance, so I have to take my time. I have to take time out for myself because the energy is very heavy for everybody, for a lot of people. So I'm gonna, my usage on social media, I want to limit it. So I don't want to be on too much. I don't want to overindulge in the internet, mess. So I come on every now and then. I'll continue to do my dailies. I feel like my energy's balanced enough to do that. But as far as like checking social media and all of that, I feel like I'm not in the right energy space for that. So I'm taking time out for myself, enjoying my time to myself with my family and stuff as I'm going through this shift. Um, a couple of people that I've talked to are going through these dark night of the souls, whether you want to call it awakenings. We don't just have one spiritual awakening. We go through many of these awakenings. We go through many epiphanies, and it's not just one aspect of it. It continues. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and tap into the energies of the collective of just individuals, but those of you who identify with divine counterpart energies, or this is a fragmented being, such as, some of us are still fragmented, still putting the pieces of ourselves together, still finding that wholeness within ourselves, that divinity within ourselves. So until we find that, technically we are still fragmented to some degree, and we're just putting the pieces of ourselves together. We're removing the pieces that don't fit us, the things that we've been trying to fit into place to make us become something that we are not, or walking in an energy that is not ours, carrying all these things from the past, whatever it is. We're purging all of that. So until you become whole and one with self, you really can't be whole and one with another person. You're going to continue to attract fragmented energies and fragmented beings, which, if you look at it from the grand scheme of things, is never really a bad thing, because what it's doing is it's assisting you, it's helping you, it's helping you to purge and release. So let's see what this energy is. I'm going to tap in. Keep in mind, you guys, we do have a Scorpio full moon coming up, so that's probably why. And I'll probably do a live on that as well, like the Scorpio full moon energy. And I took some notes down of the things that came to me, and yeah, I'll probably go into the whole spill of that. But Scorpio represents the subconscious, represents the hidden energies, emotions, death and transformation, rebirth. Okay, so you have sisterhood, friendship, allies, compatible souls, loyalty, and delight. So this can represent, it's kind of a dark energy too. With it's number 41, so that's number 5. There's a change. So this can represent changes within your connections with others. You're going to see a lot of that changing too. The people that, the people that you were once connected to and compatible with, you're going to see those that are not meant for you, and those are not of your highest good. So you got the Page of Pentacles that wanted to come out. And keep pulling on this. We got the 7 of Swords, the Fool, and the Page of Wands. You got these young energies. So the slate is being wiped clean. It's getting back to that inner child. The inner child is essential. And I always knew that the inner child was essential to our spiritual selves, our wholeness, balance. But I kind of took it for granted to some extent. And the inner child is not always a wounded one. The inner child represents that aspect of ourselves, that playful side of ourselves. Even with the Fool card, this is a full-grown woman, but the Fool is like, it's that inner child essence. That inner child essence that's free. That has the ability to just be foolish and just be in the presence of whatever this next chapter and journey is. And it's also the number 0, so it's nothingness. It's that energy that that you can form and create and manifest from that space of nothingness. So it's a clean slate. The 7 of Swords, it could be a little bit of illusion surrounding. Some of you guys may be going through what people call paranoia, um, unable to discern what's real. Is this right or is this wrong? You're going through that energy, and it's when you're in that inner child space, there is no right or wrong. There is no um this is wrong and I did this. And it's like, as a child, it's like a kid at the candy store. When you tap into that energy, when you tap into your creativity, when you tap into your playfulness, when you tap into that innocent aspect of you, that purity there, that energy of non-judgment, that energy of just being free and to live as you like. As a child, what do children do? It doesn't say be irresponsible. It doesn't tell you to be naive or childish. It's like childlike. So children, they don't really place judgments upon themselves. Hardly ever have I heard a child say, "Oh, I'm ugly." Like, I've never heard a child say that. Um, Not a health, at least a healthy child, because some children have trauma and things in their life. I've never heard a child say, "I'm ugly," or, "Oh, I'm not smart," or, "I'll never be this." The things that we tell ourselves. And they look at the beauty in life, but they also have clarity and discernment of energies. They're very connected to the spirit realm. You see how these fairies surrounding him, rainbow energies. So rainbow children, if that stands out to you, some of rainbow children, crystals, indigos, all of that, it's getting back to that essence of who you are, that true inner child, that playfulness and that creativity that stems from that childlike. And it's also giving birth to yourself, giving birth to your energy. So that is essential. So let me hold off on these cards. So let's see, what's going on with the collective of divine counterparts? Fresh start. That's a good sign. Fresh start. Recognition in reverse. Lessons. So, okay, winter and soulmate in reverse. I'm going to put these cards to the side because they're sticking out. Right away, what I'm picking up is that it's kind of hard for both of you to really focus on yourselves or each other rather. I don't feel like you're focused on anything really outside of yourself right now, especially with this energy. That could be good or bad. You don't want to isolate yourself to the point to where you're going through this energy alone. This sisterhood or this brotherhood, or the people that are close to you, especially those that you know that are on the same wavelength as you want to stay connected to them. You don't want to isolate yourself, because you are going through this process of growth and transformation and giving birth to yourself. Some of you guys may be conflicted and confused, like, is this person who I thought they were? And it doesn't have to just be quote unquote divine counterparts and twin flames and all of that. That's a whole nother subject. But it's like, you got to see yourself first before you can even recognize another person as my other half, and this person and that person. It may be very hard for you to discern who's on the right path with you, who's the right people to, are you surrounding yourself with the right people? So that could also be something that's being conflicted. If you look at this card, it has a moon in the back. So the full moon is it's already affecting a lot of people that are energetically connected and aware. But for those that are not aware of the energies, you're still being affected, and you're going to be affected more than likely. But it's a matter of utilizing these energies to help you and assist you and guide you, not take it from a place of, oh, we're doomed, oh, the full moon is in Pluto or whatever, Scorpio and Pluto, also that's some damage. Not necessarily. Like, sometimes, yeah, it could be like a tough, challenging energy, but it's how you work with it. Flip it. Just like the Mercury retrograde, you know that potentially things can go haywire, or you can make it work for yourself. Like, okay, I know that I need to get my phone updated, or I know I need to get a new phone, or I know that I need to get my car fixed. So to avoid all of that, the mundane things that come along with it, the things that spook everybody out, oh, this is bad, you have to utilize the planets and the energies to work in your favor. So the Scorpio full moon is giving us a chance to go through that the depths of ourselves and the things that are coming up that we don't want to see, because it's like the death card is like, death is scary to a human, like on a human perspective and level. Death is scary for a lot of people, even though we know it's inevitable. It's like we know that there's things within ourselves that we don't like, we don't want to address, we don't want to feel the things that we've experienced. We know it's there, but we want to deny it and pretend that it's not. It's inevitable that eventually, whether we believe this on a conscious level or subconscious, we know that we're going to have to face it at some point in time. So this is the important time for you to really look at yourself, not just your relationships, but what's going to happen is that regardless of what you're looking at or who you're looking at, you're going to go back to yourself always. And that's the thing to remember. That's the lesson in this. There's many lessons that are going to take place for not just you, but for others around you. Everyone is a direct mirror of you. Everybody is a projection of you. So when you look at him and be like, oh, he's doing this, he's not calling me, he's not texting me, or he ghosted me, or this ex did this, or this person did this, my family member said that, I remember when this person said this, it's always going to point back to you. Why is it bothering me? Why am I still hanging on to this? Why am I still angry? Why am I sad? Why do I feel insecure? It's going to always go back to you. So utilize that energy to help you cleanse and clear and delete this chapter and this story that you created that no longer is meant to fit. So it's like, yeah, this could be a time of isolation with the winter energy. It could be something that you've been dealing with for a long time. Maybe you are in hermit mode right now. Maybe you're studying and reflecting. The other person, I feel like this is everyone collectively, just in our own different way. The soulmate card in reverse, I feel that your perceptions of divine partnerships is also going to change too. The answer is no in reverse. So it's like you're going to stop telling yourself no to the things that are for you and that are meant for you. Because a lot of times we want to hold on to things that don't serve us. And I feel the things that we have not been seeing are going to become even more apparent to us. Because now we're ready to face that. Now we're ready to see what the next step is. With the mask, going to be removing a lot of falsity. It's going to be removing a lot of inauthentic aspects of ourselves, other people. We're going to start seeing things, and the more we judge others, the more we're judging ourselves. We're also going to see that too. With the purge card, this is releasing, so it could be, crying. This could be other people crying, just emotional energy. But just know that wherever you are is where you're meant to be, and what you're supposed to do is continue to live through and keep pushing through the energy. You never want to succumb to where you are and stay in that. You don't want to dwell in any energy. You want to always continue to keep it moving. You all keep going, keep moving, keep following the guidance within you first and foremost, because a good thing about this energy as well is going to push us into ourselves. Because everything, we're going to be looking at this person for the answer when we already know the answer, and they're just going to reflect back to you what you already know, what you already said, what you already think, what you already feel, what you already are experiencing. So it's kind of like it's going to teach us and everyone more of going within the self. So it just depends on where you are with this energy. The Eight of Pentacles, the Devil, the Seven of Wands, the Six of Swords, the Star at the bottom. So where everyone is at within their journey is they're working through the shadow aspects of themselves. And this can also be, you have to find pleasure within your shadow, because when I say pleasure, I feel like this is embracing your shadow aspect. Not so much, and I have to be careful when I say that, because when we go into the dark aspects of ourselves, the shadows, whether it be addictions, obsessions, fears, insecurities, when we go within that, it's like you have to take pleasure in that aspect of yourself, because it's like when you flee from it, when you deny it, when you try to control it and suppress it, the more it takes hold of you, the more you're bound and chained. But when you say, oh, okay, I see that, I see it for what it is, I can call that out and tell it, no more, or you're not a part of me, I no longer resonate with that, or yeah, I get why I was like that, I understand where I was coming from, I understand why this person did that to me, I can move on from it. So it's like you have to see the good in it in order to release it. You can't fear the devil. The devil is a concept of evil, good versus evil, and all of that. The devil doesn't necessarily have to be a specific entity. It can represent an aspect of yourself. And you see how there's all these like monster type figures or whatever. If you really look at them, they're not really all that scary. They're kind of goofy. And it's like you got to be able to call out your own demons. And everybody gets triggered by certain words, but it's like whatever you want to call it, your shadows, the negativity, the ego, whatever you want to call it, you got to be able to call those things out and recognize them and see them for what they are and be like, okay, well, you're no longer a part of me. I don't want nothing to do with you. Thank you for what you taught me, what you've shown me. Be gone. I'm not afraid of you. I have control over you. Because in essence, it's a part of you, right? Or it once was a part of you. But that doesn't mean you have to make covenant with it. And then you have the the 8 of Pentacles. So the 8 of Pentacles, this is your work. And not only that, of course, I'm reading for the collective. So, this person, that person, whoever you're focused on, whether this is the person for you or this is the person at the moment that you're meant to mingle with energetically, whatever the case may be, everyone is going through this in their own way. So this is the work and the energy that we're doing. This is the work. This is the effort and the energy we're putting towards ourselves to master something within the self. The work is never done completely, at least. But then you got the 7 of Wands. So the 7 of Wands could be environments that's triggering. It could be fighting for something, refusing to give up on yourself, refusing to give in to, whatever the triggers are. But also knowing not to fight against but not back down. So the 6 of Swords right next to it is also letting you know that the battle is already taken care of. So it's not so much that, oh, I got to fight this and I got to warn this off. Of course, stay diligent. Of course, stay protected and stay aware or what have you. But everything is already mapped out. You're following your destiny. You're following the path that is set before you already. You're already divinely protected and you're being guided. And this also could represent mental clarity as well with the 6 of Swords. Yeah, you got the King of Swords. The King of Swords is that higher thinking, that higher thought within yourself. This could be clarity of thoughts. Then you got the Knight of Pentacles into the Queen of Pentacles. So there's some sort of progression that's going to take place. This is just it's bringing everyone to a surrender and a humbling energy. See how the horse is nailed? It's kind of like surrender and humble. Not in a state that you're backing down or you're weak or you're giving up on yourself, but it's kind of like I'm releasing that control of trying to figure everything out. Because when I try to figure everything out, I try to force things, I'm not really in the flow of my energy. I'm caught up in this false energy, this what it looks like on the outside. And oh, if this isn't happening, you're like too caught up in the physical. So the Queen of Pentacles, this is also looking at your own reflection. Both of them are looking at their reflection, is getting real with themselves, is being honest with themselves, but also at the same time being compassionate with the self, being grounded and being balanced. So if you feel like you're kind of flighty with the Queen of Swords, or the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords, they're two opposite energies. You got air and earth. So if you feel like you're flighty, you feel like you're in and out of these energies, I feel this is almost like an energy to just flow. Like just be. It's almost like when you're high, when you're on a high, or when you're drunk, you kind of just you're floating. You're just kind of in that energy depending on the type of drinker or smoker you are. I can't say that for everybody, but some people wild out. But it's like you're mellow and you're kind of just flowing. And that's because it's putting you in this state of just be, just flow. Stop trying to control everything. Stay focused on you, of course. Because everything is, like I said, everything is going to reflect back to yourself. So if you feel like oh, my divine counterpart's not talking to me, or this person we perceive as a divine counterpart, oh, they're not talking to me, oh, they did this, or, you know, you don't even want to be bothered with anybody. It's because this is what you're going through, and that's cool. And you got the Four of Pentacles with the Grim Reaper in the background. So it's like these energies, it's being collected. Like, you can't hold on to the stuff no more. Like, it's coming. It's inevitable. Like I said, death is inevitable. So whatever you're holding on to, it needs to be released. It needs to die. You have to be stripped of these things. And it may be like, what am I doing? Like, because it leads to the Five of Pentacles, right? And the Five of Pentacles is that impoverished mind. Like, oh my God, you know, I can't live without this person, or I can't live without that, or I don't know how I'm going to do this. It strips you of everything that you've been clinging onto, so that something new can be given to you, which is the Six of Pentacles. But you have to be open to receive what that is, and be open to what it is. We don't just go, oh, I want $500, and, you know, we ask to borrow $500. It may be, yeah, maybe that person has it, maybe they don't, maybe they got more, maybe they got a little less, but it's like whatever we have, and it may not even be that we get the money directly. Maybe someone just pays all of our bills for us, you know what I mean, on a Monday level. But on a spiritual level, or whatever the gift is, whatever you're releasing and giving up, know that whatever you're receiving is much more of quality and much more better and of your highest good than that which you left behind. But you can't be attached to whatever. You can't be attached right now. That's what this energy is teaching us. You cannot be attached to things. You have to let it go, because you're gonna find it more difficult, and it's gonna feel like a tough process, and that's the part of you that's like, just let it go. If I continue to hang on to these negative thoughts and these fears and what I used to be and who I used to be, and this person did this to me, and what if this happens, and you hang on to it so much that you start to become sick in your being, it's like, it's a sign. Like, are you gonna let it go, or are you gonna continue to just hold on to this and just get sicker and sicker and lose your freaking mind? Let it go. If you feel like something is not working, let it go. Whether it's meant to flow back into your life, whether it comes in another way, another form, through another person, what have you, just trust. And that's what it's teaching you. Your higher being, your higher self is trying to teach you that everything is always all right, right? Yeah, we might go through some ups and downs, but at the end of the day, what happens? You're still good, right? Rather than going, oh, this is the end of the world, I don't know what I'm going to do, blah, 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 blah. You've always been all right. That's what you have to remind yourself. And it's not to accept any BS and just be like, oh, I'm just floating through life. And no, it's not that. It's knowing that wherever your soul, your higher self is trying to get to, essentially the true aspect of you, that wherever it's trying to go, it's going to be led there, and it's being guided. So it's like, what are you holding on to? What are you clinging on to? You're only keeping yourself dense and bound to something that no longer serves you, doesn't even exist, no longer exists anymore, whatever. So let's see if there's anything else, because it's like the Judgment card is Scorpio energy, right? So the Judgment card is like, you hear that call. It's usually the final call. You're hearing the final call to something. And it's like, am I going to awaken up? Because it's like the dead is awakening. So a lot of people are also going through different awakenings, and some of them are going through their first spiritual awakening. Some of them are overcoming some sort of chapter in their life. But it's like hearing the call. And when you answer that call, it's like you have a choice to make. Whether you stay here in this old energy, being dead, being asleep in this, or being naive, or in an illusion of something, or you're going to wake up to the truth of yourself and who you are, and see the path and see the other side of all of this, which leads you to the World card, that oneness, that wholeness within yourself, within your being. It's like some whole nother level stuff. And then what starts the whole major arcana over? The Fool. So the Fool is like nothingness. I'm at square zero. What am I going to do? What can I create? It's like being in that inner child. I have none of that baggage with me. It's gone. I don't even know what falling off a cliff is. Like, I can fall off this cliff, but I don't know what that means. All I know is that I want to create this. I want to do this. This is who I am. This is where I want to go. This is what I want to be. That's all it's about. That's what the Fool is about. It's that inner child, that true childlike essence of you. You're not carrying everything from the past. That's dead and gone. Those energies have died off. So I don't even know if I need to pull anything else. Let's see. Thank you. Okay. The Nine of Swords. Yeah, get rid of that. Like, a lot of you may be fighting your thoughts. You know, the things that keep you in this space of fear and not living, you know, is preventing you from really living your life out of fear. And the things that make you not want to get up in the morning, the things that keep you up at night, all of this is detrimental to you. And it needs to end. And a lot of you are already fighting those battles. Some of you are fighting the battles within in your sleep. In the subconscious, you're already fighting these off. And it's also becoming aware. Like, I'm aware of these things. I'm no longer asleep to whatever my inner struggles are, whatever these thoughts or whatever these things that are plaguing me. I'm becoming aware of, and I'm not succumbing to those energies. The Four of Wands represents your environment. So there's things within your environment that needs to be released as well. You have the Emperor card. So it's like you have to step into that aspect of you that knows that it's an authority and plays no games. As the Emperor, the Magician card, knowing that you have all the tools to make whatever you need to make happen. And then with the Two of Wands, you're going to meet those that, it's like, it's also that when the student is ready or the teacher is there or whatever it's called. Or it can also represent when you need, it's like that vision or that path that you're on, you're always going to be met with the next step. And this can, for some of you, represent union, true divine union with, not just with, most importantly, with yourself, but also with others in your environment. Not just love. This goes beyond that romantic stuff and, oh, this is my soulmate, this is my twin flame. You're going to unite. When you unite with yourself, you're going to see how you're united with your outer world and being linked up with those who share that same vision and that same wavelength that you're on. But yeah, if you want to get into the mundane stuff, this is uniting with someone. And it may not be who you think it is. Like, that's another thing that you got to release. Like, you don't even know if the person that you've been clinging on to is that person. Because I had read an article and it made so much sense to me. It resonated so much to me, inside of me, that the twin flame journey, as we call it, is not really an event. It's a journey, right? So it's not that one aspect, or it has to be one person, or it has to be this time frame, or it has to manifest like this, or this is the end once it gets to that, or this point, or when we get together. It's just this. It's like, it's a never-ending journey. Life is a journey. It's not an event. It's not one thing that happens like, oh, okay, party's over. That's it. Life is not like that. Life is a never-ending journey. So these connections that you have, you might even, you know, like some people say, oh, this person reminded me of my ex. This person reminded me of my husband, my wife, the person I was in love with. It's because it's like those energies, it's like, it's all a journey. And it's all inner journey too. Like, it's reflecting everything back to you. And some of you don't want to hear that because it's like, it sounds better to be like, oh, you know, I'm going to cling on to just one type of aspect, or I'm going to cling on to one concept of this got to be like this, and it's got to be this person or nothing else, and I'm going to die if it's not this person. In reality, you ain't going to die without this person. But, and I tell people all the time that your investment in connections is not really you investing in another person. You're investing into an energy, something within yourself that you created. You might have put a face to it, but all of those relationships you have, they've helped you along the way. You've really been investing in yourself and investing essentially to that person that's creating the same energy as you, or who's well enough like a vibrational match for you to even bring this to being, if that makes sense. So it may not always be who we think it is. It's like you got to meet certain people to know who you are and what you want and what you don't want. And even if you look back at that point, like there's people that I've been with and I thought that was an end all be all. Like, oh, my first, I want to be with them, and I know that person wasn't shit, but I had to go through that connection. So I went to the next connection. I had to go through that situation and that situation and that to learn what I want and what I don't want, who I am and who I am not, what I stand for and what I don't stand for. And it's like you're putting things out into the universe. It's like you're telling the universe what it is that you're creating and what you're wanting, so that you can have that energy that vibrationally matches with you. So you can't, like I said, it's not saying that whoever you're thinking, oh, this is my twin flame, doesn't necessarily mean that they're not your twin flame. Whatever labels you want to put on people or titles, it's not saying that they're not necessarily. What it is saying that there is a possibility that that's not a vibrational match. It may be right now, because life is a journey. That may not be the person you end up living your life's journey with on this physical realm, or what we call this physical planet and realm and journey, space and time, may not be. But you will be met with that which is for you. That's inevitable. That's the part of surrendering and letting go of control, living in the moment. Like, yeah, I feel this in the moment, but I don't really have to cling on or hold on to nothing, because I know that change is inevitable, and I know that everything, it flows. It's a journey. And when you get the hang of that inner child energy, because kids don't, we might cling on to teddy bears and toys, but when a new shiny toy comes out, we're like, oh, it's my shit. And you're playing with that, and then you let it go because you've experienced it, you've gone through it. But yeah, you'll be met with those lifelong friends, those people that stick it out with, those people that you journey throughout life with, and you stick it out as friends to the end, lovers to the end. That is all possible. But just be open and flow with your journey, because when you try to cling on to things, you miss out on the present moments. You miss out on the things that you're meant to experience and learn within your life. Love is a compass. As long as you continue to follow your heart, you're never going to be led astray. That inner compass within you, that is the key. When we're too much caught up in thinking and, oh, what's this? Oh, and we get caught up. We're not living. We're not being present. We're not centered within ourselves and our beings. I hope that makes sense. I don't know. I just went on a tangent. I don't know. Came out. All right. Let's pull into, yeah, but it's, it is what it is. If it's not your truth, don't try to stuff it down and force it to be your truth. And I'm not forcing anybody to believe in anything. I'm just a messenger. This is the message that I'm getting. This is also things that I've witnessed and experienced. So I can also say, don't cling on to nothing, because what does that serve you to cling on? Because I had to surrender a lot of things, and I'm still learning what surrendering is. I'm still learning what being is, and being present within my being and just living and not worrying about the day to day. Because when I look back at those things, I'm like, I was always taken care of when I was stressing out about something so stupid as a light bill. Like, in the grand scheme of things, that don't mean shit in the grand scheme of this. It's not, that's nothing. That's like a crumbled piece of paper, like a piece of paper in a back alley. That's nothing. Rent. How am I going to pay my rent? Is this person coming back into my life? This stuff is like Disney stuff compared to the grand scheme of things. And it's like, just live your journey and live your experience, but don't cling on to this, because this is a temporary life. It's a temporary journey in this realm, and it's like, you don't cling on to anything. Experience it, enjoy it for what it is and what it's bringing to you, and learn from it. Take it all in. It's a beautiful journey. You're here. And yeah, we can be caught up and be like, oh, I can't stand it here, and oh, this world is so horrid, and blah, blah, blah. But you got to master this realm as well, and create and do what you will with it. Have fun with it, and get the hell out of here. Let it go at the end of the day. You're not meant to stay here anyway. Love who you love. Flow, experience. Let that person be free. Let whoever comes into your, it's free. Like, that's what love is. Free. Love is not, oh, you gotta love me because we got the same birth date. You gotta be the one. I'm having dreams about you. You gotta be the one. Like, just let it all just flow with the energies and love and experience these beautiful things. But also love to the point where you're not stifling anybody. You're not trying to possess anybody. We're all free. Nothing belongs to us necessarily. Like, nobody belongs to us. All of this, and I know this may sound like, oh God, this is so depressing. I'm gonna turn this off because it just messes up my whole Disney reality. And it's like, the Disney reality is feeding you, force feeding you things that aren't serving you. Like, you're in this illusion that this one person, when you get together, oh, it's the end all be all, and that's it, and it's blissful. There's no more pain, no more drama, and it's not to say that when you find that one that you won't be blissful and happy, but it's like that's not the end of your life, and it's not the end of your journey. It's only an aspect. It's a beginning. It's also an ending, but it's also a beginning. It's like you're going to continue to live and experience things. So even with that person, if that is the one that you have ordained for yourself, that's who it's for, and you both are in that agreement within your beings that this is who I choose to live this journey of life with, you guys are still going to have experiences where you bump heads and it's not always going to be perfect, you know. And a lot of times what we find when we cling on to the things that we think is for us, sometimes when we look back at the things that were removed out of our life, we're like, thank God I didn't. Girl, you see him lately? Like, I really wanted to marry him. Like, that was who I wanted to be with. Like, what? Like, sometimes, and it's not to, and it's another thing I'm learning too, not to judge people after you're with them. It's kind of like, yeah, I see the stuff that I don't like, I don't agree with, and I kind of despise certain things, but that's their journey. That's their choice. That's what they choose to do. This is how they're choosing to live their life. This is who, if they're on to the next person, this is who they're choosing to be with, and who am I to judge that person? Like, oh, she ain't even all that, or oh, I'm not good enough, oh, she got a bigger butt than me, and all this stupid shit that we look at. So at the end of the day, it's like we're all free. And the experience, you came into my life for a reason. You helped me even through the pain. You've assisted me, and I thank you for that. If it not be you at the end of the day, then I'm still grateful for this connection. We're still vibing, we're still flowing. Why am I worried about, is this the one? Is this my twin flame? Is this my soulmate? Like, you know how we get caught up in that, and we waste so much energy and time that we don't even enjoy the connection for what it is and what it could be, and maybe what it's ordained to be at the end of the day. Anyway, a sign. Sit quietly and close your eyes. Ask your higher self to show you a sign that represents your highest development for this life. Whatever comes will be the most perfect sign to breathe life into your highest will at this time. Your sign may be a color, a feeling, or an inkling, a memory, a guide, or an angel, something abstract or a symbol. Imagine your sign is gently floating in front of you. Light, energy, and wisdom shine from your sign and saturate every part of your being. All is transformed, giving you full access to your higher will and courage. Be inspired by this newly found part of you. Allow it to reveal your highest development, your highest path, what makes you happiest. Open your eyes and continue to flow through your day. So that was a card that I pulled, a sign. So I hope that this reading was helpful and it resonated with those who it was meant to resonate with and stick out to. If it's not for you, don't try to force it to resonate with you. And this isn't me trying to force anybody to believe anything. It's a message for somebody. It's coming out for a reason. So whoever is meant to take it and resonate with it, do what they will with it, discern it, what have you, that's up to you. Much love as always, you guys. Much love. I appreciate everybody. Like I said, I'll be on here to do periodically to do my dailies and stuff if I feel guided. I do want to do something for the Scorpio full moon, so I just need to balance my energy, recharge, take care of myself, and then I'm just trying to limit my time on social media and the internet and stuff. So I hope you guys understand that. Take time out for yourselves, love up on yourselves, reflect, go within, be compassionate to yourselves, non-judgmental towards yourself nor others. Before you go to bed, have forgiveness in your heart. Don't go to bed with any resentment Don't go to bed with any negative thoughts and feelings and fears. Before you go to bed, meditate, release that, make peace with those energies, let them go. And also protect yourself as well. Stay protected. Of course, there's a lot of us that have protection, but it never hurts to be aware and make sure that we're double protected. But just love up on yourself and love up on your energies and love up around the people around you. Don't take anybody for granted. Love everybody. The people that have hurt you, let them go in peace. Let it go. Because you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you, so that you don't have to carry that energy or that weight any longer. And I'm reminding myself this too every day. Like, everything is coming up for me. Like, I go through it too. And as I go through it, I can show other people how to work through it as well, as I'm learning and as I'm going through it and as I'm overcoming these things. Because the thoughts are going to come. The negative thoughts, the insecurities, some maybe even suicidal thoughts, like, what am I doing here? Why am I even living? What's my purpose? Oh, I don't want to be here. I can't do this. I'm not strong enough for this. But you got to tell yourself, this is not the end of my story, because if I'm still living on this planet, I still got shit to do, and I don't have time to tap out. So whatever this energy is that's trying to, like, get up in my ear and buzz out, have me buzzing out, I see it for what it is, and I release you with peace. Thank you for showing me that I am strong, that I'm not no weak out here, because you wouldn't be telling me that I need to tap out if there wasn't something about me that needs to be here. So that's how you got to tell yourself. You got to tell whatever these energies are, whether they're coming out of you. These are things that maybe you grew subconsciously within your own mind, or these are things people place upon you, or just things, whatever. Overcome these things. Much love.